Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about you needing to get out and experience new life. You have to get out and experience new life. That is extremely important for our creativeness, and it helps with your sanity. And I say all of that to say is like, sometimes you have to risk it for the biscuit. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you have to make that spontaneous decision. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to go with the flow. Sometimes you just need to jump off the fucking boat. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to swim, just jump. You know what I'm saying? You know you're gonna be alright. You know you can handle the water. So I feel like for a lot of us, when we're getting into this growing space and ascending, we get so wrapped up in protecting our energy that we forget that it's more positive and more of the higher frequency in God's creations out here than it is the negative frequency. See, what happens is the matrix is negative. So anything involving the matrix and doing things deep within the matrix is going to make you feel that way. You know what I mean? So for me, I realized, like, I used to risk it for the biscuit a lot when I was younger, just doing reckless shit. Like, I don't know, maybe just fucking breaking house windows or seeing who's gonna, you know, go knock on this door and run, or egg this house, or just like risking it for the biscuit for a bunch of shit that wasn't meaningful. You know, none of that shit had any meaning to it. Any of it, anything that I can think of it, and it's like I'm grabbing a lot of examples, but we know what low vibrational things are. You know what I'm saying? So when I had to start understanding that I had to flip the script, and when I was able to flip the script and realize, okay, today I wake up and fuck, I just want to go near the water. You know what I'm saying? Say it's something like that, not like the regular lake, which clearly y'all can see I'm beside the ocean. You know what I'm saying? For me, I realized, like, just doing little subtle things like this, it helps me realize and understand that there's more to life than, for one, just the town that I'm fucking in every single day. And for two, it also helps me realize that we have a whole life and world out here to experience, that we are limited due to our abilities able to travel. So what I mean by risking it for the biscuit sometimes is, like, for a small example, I'm at Nags Head Beach right now. This is in North Carolina, but this is only a 4-hour drive from me. I drive from Virginia to Florida. That's a 10-hour drive. You know what I'm saying? So for me, 4 hours is nothing to be able to wake up to this, to be able to kind of just get a different vibe and feel on life itself. You know, we not always in the position where we have the finances to risk it for the biscuit, so we think. But what's really gonna happen if you risk it for the biscuit, and let's say you are on-time bill payer all the time. Say you skip the fucking bill and you wanted to risk it for the biscuit. You could run into some of your best experiences in life by risking it. And when I say risking it, I use that because we all know finances is our part of our grounding, and it helps us with our stability. But when you've chosen and you know you have to let everything go eventually. That's part of unlocking and opening up your crown chakra. You don't mind risking those things, you know? It's like, first you have to dive in and figure out where it is you would like to explore. Everybody thinks vacations and trips and all these things have to be like all planned out forever, and you gotta have all the money in the motherfucking world. You don't have to have all the money in the world. If you know how you eat, you already know you okay in that area. You know what I'm saying? If you know how you like to, you becoming a minimalist and you don't really care for spending, then you know that the only thing you're really paying out of the pocket is for your room if you go and get one, if you don't have like an RV or something, or like a little Sprinter van that you can kind of just pull over, and you know they got these built-in tiny homes and all these little things, you know what I'm saying, where you can actually maneuver around and do what you have to do in a healthy manner and still have everything you need with you at the same time, you know. Because I would definitely love to invest into one of those. I actually seen one of my followers had one of the vans that they all the way on the other side of the country in Cali, but you know, I see them pull their van up on the beach, open the back doors, they got the bed and everything laid and shit in there, and I thought that was pretty fire, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets us out of feeling and thinking as if we have to have these large lump sums of money to experience life, you know? And if you're somebody who only gets out of your town once or twice a year, then you should probably figure out how to spend out a little bit more often if you can. If you once or twice and you spend this year or next year, this next time you make it, okay, I'm gonna try to get out 4 to 5 times this year. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to risk it. The matrix is false security. So let's say you played it safe your whole life, making sure you didn't do anything because you didn't want to trick any money away or do any of this other extra shit, you know what I'm saying? Then they throw the matrix away. Now you really won't be able to travel around the way you would like to. Because we already know once they fucking crash this matrix, they're gonna have their own other systems ready to put in place again. You know what I'm saying? So we only live once. You know what I'm saying? And you only get to experience your age that you're at once. You know what I'm saying? Why wait till you're 60, 70 years old to start moving around and exploring life when you can risk it while you still can maneuver around yourself? My legs work, my arms work, my body works. So why would I want to wait till I got all this money piled up and or I got this great situation set up over here? There's never going to be no great situation. It's always going to be something in the way. Especially if you chose it, you already know there's going to be something in the way. So you have to do what you have to do to make sure that you're living your best, most fruitful life you can, and making sure that, because for me, when I'm able to get out and get the fuck away from my town, when I get back in that town, I'm not as, the energy isn't as effective on my vessel as it is when I've been sitting in the town for 5 to 6 months and I haven't spun out anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere outside of my area. So you have to understand that if you eat at one side of town, you always on the east side of town, you know what I'm saying, and you don't vibe the same way you used to vibe no more, that shit, it's time for you to go over to the west side of town. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got some beef or some smoky shit, you know what I'm saying, then I wouldn't advise doing that just because, you know, you're trying to keep the peace right now. But you have to bump around, you have to maneuver around. I have my certain stores on one side of town that's closest to me that I fuck with, But then I don't always want to go to them, but I always have stores on the other side of town too. And it's usually the Arabs. I like fucking with the Arabs. So any store that I go to, it's gotta have that home feel vibe. It has to feel comfortable. It has to feel organic. If it feels like a Target or a Walmart or a 7-Eleven, then those are usually like the last of the stops. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta be able to risk it for the biscuit. You know what I'm saying? All those things that you've been wanting to do, and every time you feel like you getting yourself situated to do it and another something comes into place. The way my life has been set up, it's always another something that comes into place. So for me, what I do is I follow the energy flow. If the energy flow is telling me, look, alright, you woke up today, you wanna go near the mountains. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I allow my energy to do. If it's like, yo, alright, today you gotta be feeling like you need to go out of your town or something, just because each town holds its own energy, then I'm gonna get the fuck out. I follow my energy flow. I follow my energy flow. Yes, I have to do my mandatory necessity things that we all have to do, but in my mind, in my spirit world, I told myself I didn't want to work a build job. I didn't want to go back to the build jobs. I didn't want to go back to the plantations. So for me, I had to figure out a way how to create finances so that way I didn't have to go back to the plantation. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like fucking with the plantations and all of that shit. I understand we gotta do it, but for me personally, I manifested so much shit in my life. As soon as I told myself I wasn't going back to the plantation, I was at I was a head chef, kitchen manager, and basically running the front house, the back of the house, and the bars on the weekends, every other weekend when I didn't have my mini. And I was doing that for 4 years before the vid happened, you know? And then once the vid happened, I didn't go back to another build job. I didn't go back to another build job. I decided to risk it all for the biscuit. I said, I'm not going back to the build job, so whatever the fuck I gotta do to grind, to figure out, I'm gonna make sure that I do, so that way I don't have to get back in this build job. I cannot create generational wealth. I cannot do the things I would like to do being on their time. I wouldn't be able to just wake up and bump out the way if I was on their time. But I also had to create the space to be able to do that as well, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's important for all of us to be able to do. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? Y'all tap into everything down below. We got the beautiful ocean out here. We out here in North Carolina. It's Nag's Head. It's Nag's Head. But I just wanted to wake up near the ocean today. This is what I wanted to do. I say, you know what? I'm about to wake up near the water. I don't give a fuck how my night finishes out. I just know I need to wake up with this energy on me so that way I can get new vibes. This shit holds a lot of wisdom and a lot of life, you know what I'm saying? But y'all tap into everything down below. Peace and love to the kids.